Welcome back to Daily Persuasion. I'm your host, Joshua Lisec, the New York Times bestselling author and co-author, as well as the ghostwriter of more than 90 nonfiction book titles and a professional certified hypnotist. It's through this unique lens of talent stacks that I teach you how to influence the VIPs in your life. Now, part of being persuasive is not being anti-persuasive. And the way that I explain it to my kids, and I use the Mike Mandel hypnosis cards, highly recommend the Mike Mandel hypnosis card deck. Get those, go through one of them each week, each day with your kids, depending on their ages. That way you can teach them persuasion principles from an early age. Now, the way that I teach hypnotic persuasion specifically, now the way that I tell my kids what persuasion is persuasion is where you do things to make it easier for the other person to say yes. That's persuasion for kids and for adults, making it easier for the other person to say yes. Now, anti-persuasion makes it harder for them to say yes. Repeat, anti-persuasion makes it harder for the other person to say yes. So what we want is to stop being anti-persuasive. So the less anti-persuasive you are, the more persuasive you automatically become. Make sense? Now, I posted this the other day on X, formerly Twitter, the X platform. What word tips you off that the other person has zero credibility? For me, it's problematic. So I want to go through some of these with you because it's going to teach you what not to say so that you can stop being anti-persuasive or be less anti-persuasive and therefore more persuasive. At Chris Orzi said, pronouns in bio equal opinion discarded. Yes, that's correct. We have at Fathers Reforged, using the word partner to describe the person you're in a relationship with. Yes, I hear this from time to time. The reason being, someone is saying partner, I can't tell what they mean. So I have this unanswered question. Wait a second. Like your business partner? Or like your life partner? Or like you have a harem or harem? By the way, I know like 3 people personally who have harems now. This is becoming increasingly common as we transition from a Judeo-Christian to an Islamo-Christian society in the West. We're seeing that more and more, and that's being socially accepted. That even if they refer to their partners as this is my wife and this is also my wife, you start to see that more and more and more. Ironically, it came about through the sexual revolution and having triads and polyamory and whatnot, closed triads, right? So you're seeing these sorts of things now. Anyway, I have unanswered questions in my head, and is this person their partner? And I will have to stop the conversation and say, so I understand your business partner or your life partner, and they'll say, yes, haha, okay, that's funny. But still, it's an unanswered question. And when you're opening a bunch of loops of, wait a second, what is this person talking about? That is anti-persuasive. Let's see what else. Amy Loftus, love Amy Loftus. Go follow her Substack. She has me on several times, so that's why. So I'm a little bit biased. But she says, always is a word that tips off the person as having no credibility. As in, I have an inner alarm that I am hearing someone tell themselves a story when I hear that word, and that never might be accurate. Jonathan Prescott, who runs Homeschool Life, fantastic program. They're clients of mine, as you may know, from my other channel, at Joshua Lisec. They say, to be fair and super helpful are low credibility phrases. And then Jen, who is at Jam Writes, but the I is a 1. She has some great pieces for a website called Michigan Enjoyer. She said, a Michigan gubernatorial candidate said he could not have an intelligent conversation with me. No, sir, you cannot. He has zero credibility because he was not bright enough to support his argument, so he attempted to insult me. Yes, we see this a lot with the left. Liberals tend to exist in a reality-free zone, and because of that, they never have to, from their own side, defend things. They're not disagreeable with each other, generally. The way that conservatives are, always iron sharpening iron, biblical principle. Conservatives, when they go onto liberal media, the liberal has no idea what to say because they've never encountered this before. It's kind of like a population encountering a pathogen that has had no exposure to it before ever. It does not go well. And so logic in the presence of liberals is kind of like well, a sort of a plague that wipes out all liberal thought because there's nothing, and the only resistance they have to it is, well, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're a bigot, you're a democracy destroyer, you're unable to have an intelligent conversation with me. At American Debunk, who runs a great website that debunks all of the most popular hoaxes of the last, I'd say, 10 years now. I think it's at American Debunk. They say actually and should. Justin Barber says, folks, come on, folks. Oh, so you're trying to be folksy without being folksy, and you're thinking that you can manipulate me into thinking you get me when you don't? That's a good one. Let's see. Edward B. says, I disagree, with zero reason given for the disagreement due to knowing nothing about the subject. Yes, this happens a lot with liberals. Let's see here. Experts agree, settled science, disingenuous, any adverb whatsoever, using irregardless. When someone starts a sentence with, as a, yep. Another version of this is they'll say, profession here. Actually, you see this generally with under 35 affluent white female liberals. They'll use the, as a PhD in whatever, I, being Dr. Perkins Malloy, will, and then they'll go off on their argument and say the lowest intelligence screed you've ever seen in your life about the subject. For example, that actually Viking warriors were 50% female. And actually, of those females, half of them were gender non-binary, non-conforming, transgender, transsexual, whatever, right? And this is not, I'm not even exaggerating at this point. This is what they say. Let's see. Resilience, uncomfortable, gift as a verb. Oh, instead of give. Yes, this is the NPR American phenomenon. So NPR Americans are people who like to be informed. They're being informed enthusiasts and enjoyers. And so they will like to use language that is like corporate HR speak, the way that NPR anchors and commentators will use. And they like to insert it into conversation to make it sound like they're informed. So instead of a give, they'll say gift to someone. And whenever they're using words in another language they don't know, the same way that NPR commentators do, NPR Americans, what they will do is they will overemphasize the pronunciation of it. So reading a menu, they will say, being a total gringo, they'll say at the Tex-Mex restaurant, yes, can you get me one of the margarita, please? And to this here, can I have this al fresco? We'll say it like that. Or ardente, like that. And it's like, sir, this is a Chewy's. And it's what they do to overemphasize this. So what we're getting at here is those people who like to really pass themselves off as being credible and trying to use multiple credibility markers, they come across being anti-persuasive because it's, wait a second, why are you trying so hard? Why are you trying so hard? So don't try so hard, just be. A couple of other uncomfortable ones are using like every 2 or 3 words. It's like, you know how like, so like the Vikings, they were like really egalitarian, like, and that's how they are. And then my favorite one is using misinformation, disinformation, or fascist. Yes, yes. This is what they do every single time. Don't do it, and you too can be credible for real.